Today I'm going to teach you how to use Garganacl. This Pokemon is pure rock type and has an insane ability in purifying salts. It cannot be status, so poison, burn, and also it resists ghost because ghost power is half. It's amazing as a special wall, especially when Pokemon like Fluttermane and Dragapult and even Goldengo are running around. So the first set we have is probably the most common set of Garganacl, and that is the Salt Cure Iron Defense Body Press set. You run max HP, almost max special defense, and then 8 speed. The speed is mainly there to creep other Garganacl, but you could run less or more depending on what you feel. Careful nature allows you to take more special moves. And then your Terra type is Fairy. And the reason your Terra type is Fairy is because it allows Garganacl to resist Dark, which is very important in a metagame with Pokemon like Chi-Yu. And it also allows it to resist fighting, and it gets rid of its water weakness, making Garganacl that much better versus Pokemon like Palafin and even Iron Bundle. It can actually beat them 1v1. I uploaded a video earlier today, a showdown live of it annihilating Iron Bundle basically. So if you guys want to check that out, also feel free to subscribe as I upload moveset guides, discussion videos, Pokemon Showdown lives, and soon Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Wi-Fi battles every single day. So make sure you subscribe, you don't want to miss it. So Salt Cure is your signature move. It's amazing. It's only 40 base power physical. However, the secondary effect is what's amazing. So it deals an 8th max HP every turn. So it's basically consistently damaging the opponent. And if you're a steel type or water type, it does 1/4 of your stuff every single turn. It's actually insane because Pokemon like Corviknight cannot wall this Pokemon as easily as they think they could because you just simply are taking so much health from them. Iron Defenseless Body Press mean that you're boosting your Body Press damage output, which is based on your defense, and it just becomes that much harder to kill. Can become an unkillable machine. Even Great Tusks has a lot of trouble breaking through this thing after it's set up. And then you have Recover, allowing you to just get that reliable recovery for at least 8 turns, especially considering you cannot be status. It's really, really, really nice. I would like to pair this, or I suggest pairing this thing with things like Corviknight that can defog away hazards. Though you do have heavy duty boots, but leftovers are an option. Hippowdon can get up sand for you. Honestly, it's really good as well with just hazards from like Garchomp, with Stealth Rock and Spike, just because it really pressures Pokemon with Salt Cure. And then we have the Stealth Rock set. Now, this is basically using the exact same set, but instead of cursing or body pressing, using it as defensive utility. I think that Stealth Rock is fine if your more offensive team needs a good answer to, well, Fluttermane back in the day because it got banned in 6v6, but not in obviously 3v3 or doubles. Though doubles, this wouldn't, I think, make too much because you don't want to use Stealth Rock. But Spadef 1 just allows you to take on Pokemon like that. It still allows you to obviously take on Chi-Yu's fire moves as well. Dragapult, Specs, Shadow Balls, and also Specs Draco Meteors, as they never 2-hit KO you and you can recover off the damage. And just having Stealth Rock, and also something that really does annoy Corviknight with the combination of Stealth Rock plus Salt Cure doing 1/4 damage at every turn, and Body Press, if they roost, they lose their flying type, and you're doing even more damage, is really, really nice. Just using it as a special wall as opposed to a straight up setup sweeper. Your Terra type is also Fairy. Again, just allowing you to even better take on water type attacks coming at you since you're no longer weak to them, but more importantly, fighting and dark type attacks, and even being immune to Dragon. Then we have the block set, and this one is a little bit more unique because it takes advantage of the fact that Pokemon like Amoonguss come out on Garganacl, and even mainly Amoonguss is the big one, right? And also sometimes water types in general. And the idea behind this is you go for block. If you block your opponent, they cannot switch unless they go for Volt Switch or U-turn or anything like that, right? They cannot switch out. So if you block Amoonguss thinking that it can beat you 1v1 via Giga Drain, or if you're the Body Press Iron Defense set, which Terrestrialize is sometimes either Fairy or Flying. I do want to mention that you could use Flying to basically better set up on ground types. You become Terra type Steel here. They cannot Giga Drain you for super effective damage, and more importantly, they cannot Clear Smog you, and they can't Spore you due to your Purifying Salt. So this allows you to not only effectively wall them, but with block and curse, you're beating them 1v1 with Salt Cure before they're recovering enough, allowing you to basically get rid of a member for your team. So I would pair this with something like Palafin, right? Because Palafin really struggles with Amoonguss if it's a taunt bulk up set, or if it's Choice Band without Zen Headbutt. And even if your Choice Band with Zen Headbutt, Amoonguss just comes in, takes it once, and then switches out, gets the Regenerator. So I would pair this with something like that, allowing it to really take advantage of the fact that there is no more Amoonguss wall in your Palafin. Just a nice little block wall with Curse to boost your defense and your attack, making it even harder to deal with naturally, because once you're Steel type, you know, you're only weak to a few Pokemon as Steel type, right? Like the fighting, the ground, the fire move. So Chi-Yu obviously a bit more of a problem, but obviously prior to terastallizing, you don't have to terastallize. Only in the situation, I think, versus Amoonguss you should. You can still take hits. But next up, we also have another one, and this one is also kind of similar. I do think that Rock Salt should be on almost every, if not every, version of Garganacl. However, maybe you want to use sort of similar to a Registeel, right? Maybe you want to use the Curse Heavy Slam set, and this is a more offensive one. Instead of using Block to deal with Amoonguss, you're actually using Heavy Slam, which comes off of 120 base power, because Garganacl is a very, very heavy. I mean, it looks like a heavy Pokemon, right? No offense to it, I'm sure it works out, but like you have the Spadef, you have the HP right there, and again the 8 speed. I don't think the 8 speed matters as much here. It's because you're cursing, but it's more so you can hit others with Body Press prior, but you don't have to run 8 speed on it. It can just be max, and then here I don't know why I'm having trouble getting rid of this 8, but. So this allows you to just have basically secondary stab, and Heavy Slam is very, very, very strong, especially coming off of you becoming Steel type. This is almost like a Great Tusk, right? Because you have Body Press plus Heavy Slam, but you getting stab on it is amazing, and also you're still able to deal with Pokemon like Iron Bundle, because with Steel type you don't care about freeze dries and ice beams coming out, because you end up just straight up resisting them. So allowing you to even have a more offensive option, right? I have a lot of Curse options here because I think that Curse and Iron Defense are basically its best sets. This Pokemon's also very good in-game as well. If you're playing through the game, it's really nice, especially when you pair it with like Clodsire. In general, Clodsire is a good pair because it can get up Toxic Spike for it. But again, if you find your team struggling with Pokemon like Amoonguss, or you just want to be able to break through Pokemon even like Corviknight and stuff like that, this thing can Curse up and can do that. Curse Heavy Slam also allows you to break through like Screaming Tail, the new Jigglypuff, basically, allowing you to do just that. And then we have another one that you can use. This is a still Stealth Rocker, but it's more just support, and it has Protect for longevity, because when you go for Salt Cure on the opponent and you get a little bit of damage off, but you also get the 1/8 after. Some opponents will try and U-turn out. Some opponents will try and switch. Regardless, if I Salt Cure on something that's offensive and comes in on me, I get a lot of damage off, and I can Protect to not only get my leftovers recovery back, but also to rack up even more damage on them with Salt Cure, allowing Garganacl to be that much more of a threat. With Stealth Rock and Recover, it's just an annoying Stealth Rocker for defoggers, right? Corviknight cannot defog on this thing safely without being forced to use Roost, just because the Salt Cure really starts to add up. And another situation why it's nice is because something like Donphan, or aka Great Tusk, comes in on you. Yeah, it doesn't take that much initially from Salt Cure, but the added damage ends up doing so much when you couple that with Protect. You don't have to switch initially. You can see them go for Rapids, and you can Protect and save yourself and just continuously rack up that damage. That's the whole thing about Garganacl, right? You want to Curse or Iron Defense sweep, or you just want to be doing and be really annoying by racking up as much damage with Salt Cure as possible. And lastly, I kind of just wanted to throw a Choice Band set there just because it has base 100 attack. So we have Choice Band, which boosts your attack 1.5, but obviously you are locked into one move. You cannot click multiple moves. Stone Edge is your stab move. It's your strongest move. You're 2-hit KOing Pokemon like Amoonguss. With Stealth Rock, you're 2-hit KOing Corviknight, though obviously it can Roost on you. But you have Earthquake there as well, because Rock plus Ground is incredible coverage. You're hitting the Steel types that resist the Rock type attacks too. Ice Punch is nice because Garchomp is running around again, so it allows you a way of knocking that thing out in one hit. It also gives you a strong move versus Dragonite that doesn't, it's a 4 times effective move, but also it doesn't mean you have to risk missing Stone Edge, which I like too. And then I have Explosion. And the reason, and you can keep Purifying Salt because I think that's just his best ability. Sturdying Clear Body or whatever, right? When you can't be status, it's amazing. Explosion is a really strong 250 base power move, so it's stronger than all your moves. Even like a super effective Stone Edge only, it's strong, right? Because you get the stab plus, what is it? Because I'm also giving you normal stab as well, is what I'm trying to say, right? So you have the normal stab too, so your Explosion becomes stab, right? So let's say your opponent has a +1 Garchomp, or +2 Garchomp in front of you. If you Terrastallize normal Well, in some situations, they might just go for Earthquake, but they basically have a +1 to see me Dragonite in front of you, and they're going for Earthquake. You Terrasilize normal, you're no longer weak to Earthquake. You could either obviously knock them out with Stone Edge or Ice Punch if you want, if they're taking a little bit of damage, or you can go for Explosion versus Bulky Waters and absolutely nuke them with now your stab move. The Speed EVs allow you to outspeed Blissey and just walls underneath that speed tier. The rest will just put into HP and then maximizing your attack stat. But hopefully this helped you out in learning how to use Garganacl. I was a little bit pressed for time. I didn't get to do an intro. I didn't get to do a whole bunch of stuff, but I wanted to get this out because I showed off Garganacl earlier today in a Pokemon Showdown Live. I encourage you to check that out. Subscribe for more. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.